And basically the thought process was building quality into your job, whether it be a fence or a deck or whatever, and then comparing price.
How do you know if purple coaching is actually helping the business or not?
Yeah, that's a great question, Greg. So Robert and I ask that to ourselves all the time. And in reality, it comes down to, are we adding value? And there's weeks that I go to Robert and I say, man, I don't feel like I added value. He said, but did you show up?
We don't have actual experience.
Gotcha.
We have data on the powder coating section, but I'm not going to look in the eye and say absolutely. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think people will appreciate that more than you just feeding them a bunch of BS and like, hey, yeah, it's going to last forever. And told you, you're kind of a big deal in the stain world.
Yeah, Stephen didn't tell you that the reason I know my stain is that there's a little secret.
And we got to a point to where it was like, I needed more here, and he didn't want to come here. So then I'm like, look, I either need to do my own thing, or I need to buy you out. And he was like, bye. So then I bought him out, and then, which we're still on great terms. Like, we went and seen him on spring break and stuff. But
just use the ratchet, you know,
like,
dude, it's not even. I remember before we would get Sacrete, we would mix sand, gravel, and Portland. And if you want to talk about make a man out of someone, try that one time. You know, I've been doing that my whole life. So, but yeah, it's been great. The gas, that's.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are finally live. It's been a little bit of a day, I guess to say, but hey, we're here. It's Fence Guy Friday, and it's Friday. We're a little behind, so no worries. But we have the one and only, the man of Memphis. Dan's here with us.
What's up, man? How's it going?
I felt like I was going to get more of a reaction out of you. You just kind of a little smile, nothing big. You're like,
Oh, sorry.
But you got the music guitar over there too. Ready? Is that your Memphis kind of thing?
Yeah, yeah. So I got a few of them hanging on the wall over here. I got into it a couple of years ago and play off and on. It's pretty fun. Nice little hobby, something to
Okay.
fiddle with.
Like, are you like legit? Like, you can like play pretty good, or
If you wanted to like start playing piano, you'd learn how to play Mary Has a Little Lamb or something like that. Like that's the level I'm at.
okay? I got you. I didn't know if you were like
So,
doing some like Metallica or something, like getting
mm,
down.
no, I mean I can kind of like play at a little bit of Metallica stuff and things like that, but nah,
Yeah,
I'm definitely not good at it.
yeah. Well, it's all right, man. You'll get better with practice, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe in the next 40 years I'll make some progress.
Awesome. So man, things slowing, or I guess things are probably picking up since FinTech, huh?
Yeah,
In the
yeah.
world
It's
of business.
yep. So the weather's changing, days got a little longer, all of that stuff, and
Mhm.
it's kind of like that flips the switch for the chaos to start. You know how it is.
Everybody starts calling because they're like, I can't call in the wintertime, so we'll wait
Right.
until the
Right.
weather.
My phone was frozen all winter. It just now thawed out.
That's what I never understand what people, because they're like, oh, I didn't know you did fence in the wintertime. And I'm like, well, our bills don't stop in the wintertime. Like, they
Hmm.
still want the gas bill, the electric bill. So
That's right, man.
yeah.
That's right. So we're fortunate that we can work all through the winter. Of course, we do get a lot of wet weather and things like that that slow us down, but yeah, we're pretty fortunate that we get to work through the winter as where I know there's a lot of people that, they're shut down for months in the winter
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I get
so
our
yeah.
friends up in Canada that shut down, like Front Rock Fences. I know he shuts down, which
Hmm.
I think he said he's was going back after Fence Tech and then going to start kicking things off. So,
Oh, nice.
but let's take a quick second, give a shout out to our sponsors before we get rolling into everything that we have planned. Wink, wink. We got NW Quick Pool, Ozark Fence and Supply, Contractor Accelerator, JC Gurry, Orlando Hinge Company, and our newest one, Brand Builders. Guys, if you contact them or go on our website, which is fenceguypodcast.com, go on there. There's links on there that'll take you to their pages, and you'll get discounts with using all of them, actually, from $200 off a tool, 10% off, half a month free, all that kind of stuff. And then our newest sponsor, newest sponsor, Sampalo. Dan, do you know about Sampalo?
No, I've never heard of it. What does it do?
Someone's lying.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
I'm
go
sure
ahead.
you want to talk about some Sampalo though, right?
Oh, we can if you want.
Yeah.
Man, honestly, I'm not very good at selling that stuff. Like I don't ever push people. I don't make the hard sales. Like I'm just kind of like whatever. It's a thing. If you want it, let's go.
Listen, I got to be honest, guys. Whenever we're at FinStech, obviously I stopped by Dan's booth, Sampalo, and there was people coming up to him, and he's 100% right. Like, they're coming up and they're like looking at like, his screen and stuff, and they seem interested, and you're just like so chill with people when you're like, so you want to see
Yeah.
a demo? Like, and then you're not like, come over here right now. I got you. And like, and people were like grabbing, you had like book bags, right? Bags.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
was there hats?
Yeah. We had bags and
Yeah.
hats and water bottles and
Yeah.
pins and all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff.
People were like scared to grab them because they thought they were going to get sucked in for a demo. So
Yeah.
they're like, can I have it? And you're like, yeah, man, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So the thing about it is, man, like I've been the fence guy just walking around trade shows, right?
Yeah.
And I know it's so annoying that anytime you like even slow down and look in a booth, it's like you get swarmed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me tell you about this. Let me try to sell you this. I'm like, dude, I was just looking at the carpet. Like, I don't care what you're selling,
Yeah.
And so I try to be different. I try not to take that approach. I mean, I'm happy to talk to people about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of folks come by the booth and talk to us about, the show and their fence business and all kinds of stuff. I mean, we're there to hang out and network and meet people just as much as we are to try to sell the product. And also, I mean, I just think I believe in the AFA and what they're doing.
Mhm.
And I mean, that's a little way that we can help support AFA and, help promote the stuff that they're doing too. So it's
Yeah.
it's a lot of stuff going on there for me, more than just trying to sell the software.
Well, I think too with your booth, there's like your shirts stand out. So I
Mhm.
think that attracts people. And then your backdrop is pretty much the same design.
Yeah.
It probably is the exact same design, but
Yeah.
and then my favorite part is the putt green.
Yeah. Yeah. People
So,
love that thing, man.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
did as many people win money this year as they did I guess Nashville?
No, I don't think so. I think
Mm.
I guess people were a little bit luckier in Nashville than they were out there in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
I was kind of nervous about doing it in Salt Lake City. I was like, is there some weird rules here that like you're not
Dude.
allowed to do this? And nobody said anything, so we just kept rolling with it. If you
Yeah.
don't know, if so, in our booth at trade shows, we'll normally roll out a little putting green, and we lay $100 bill on the putting green, and you have to putt and stop on the $100 bill, and then you win the money.
Yeah.
And so, kind of going back to the whole no pressure type thing, it's not like you have to give us your contact information or let us scan your
Yeah.
badge or hear about the software. It's like you want to try. So
Yeah, that's what I thought was unique too, is because people come up and just do that, and you literally are like okay with it. You're like,
Yeah.
it's all right, just go ahead, like
yeah,
try. So, are
yeah.
you planning on doing
So-
that for Indy?
Oh yeah.
Is there an
Oh, yeah.
age limit?
Nope. So we've had, I think, a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old that have won.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Those are the ones that I think are really cool.
I bet
And
that.
it's funny. These people get up there and they're like, "Oh man, I play 14 rounds of golf every day," and they think they're gonna just nail it, and they never do.
Yeah.
So that's the funny part of it.
Which I got to
But
know. Did Shane Catton stop by your booth?
he did.
Did he putt and win?
Not that I remember.
Sucker.
I'm-
So today I went to lunch with him today,
Yeah,
and
did you?
we were talking about golf because he said he's going to get back into it because the weather's breaking and stuff. And then he actually said he's like a pretty decent golfer.
Mhm.
And then so that made me wonder. I was like, that's exactly your story. Like he's pretty solid. Well, if
Mhm.
he's getting the scores that he says, I think he said like 68 to 78 or something.
Yeah,
And I was like, dang, dude, that's pretty good.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm at
gotta
the
add
point where I don't keep track. I'm just like, all right,
Right.
we're just here having fun.
You gotta like add a 1 in front of it if you go play golf with me.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh,
Uh,
I didn't already go on this hole. All right, I guess on to the next.
right. Yeah, I'm okay. Like I'll go play a scramble with some people that don't take
Mhm.
it too serious and like play the whole best ball method.
Mhm.
But I mean, if I'm on your team and you're relying on me, I do not want to be in that situation at
Yeah.
all, for sure.
Like we're screwed.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's funny. Susan says, "Hey y'all, what up, Susan?"
Hey, Susan.
Oh, she's watching on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Susan, go to the YouTube page. If you guys can't tell, we need more watch hours on YouTube. So go on
So
there and check it out.
Just go play it in the background. Just let it play on your phone.
Exactly.
You don't even have to watch.
Look, I may or may not have told my kids and some family members, hey, look, whenever you go to bed at night, just play this episode. It's like an hour long. Just let it play, fall asleep. It'll shut off eventually. So they haven't done it.
So you have like all the computers and phones and your tablets in your house all playing your show.
Yeah. I'm like, dang, we got 73 viewers. That works. But
Yeah. They all
so
have
what's
the
up,
same
man?
address.
Anything what's that?
I said, and they all had the same address.
Yeah, no. That would suck if it didn't
Yeah.
count.
Right.
Anything new with the Memphis Fence Company?
Not really, man. Still just trucking along and trying to trying to figure out how to grow and improve and increase efficiency and all of that stuff.
Um,
There you go.
look at this. Susan is a rock star.
Mm.
You guys don't know Susan K. Worley. She's a rock star. Now you don't do much residential, right?
So, man, at the end of 2022, we stopped. Right. And I don't know how in depth you want me to get with this, but we
It's your time to shine, brother.
all right. Well, here we go. So I for a long time I lived under this impression that like we had to have the cash flow from residential stuff to survive, right?
Mhm.
And it was kind of just like I don't know, the way it was, right? And like there was no evidence to support that in our business. I don't think this applies to everyone, just to be clear, right?
Mhm.
This is my experience. So in our business, there was like never any evidence or anything to support that. And so I went one day and I went to like, I don't know, 4 or 6 random points in time. And I looked at the deposits that we had on residential jobs, the money that we had invested in jobs that were work in progress. And then I looked at the inventory that we had sitting on the yard and I was like, it's all a wash. By the time you look at the deposits versus, the money that you have invested in it, I was like, we're not benefiting at all from this. And we're doing all of this work. So those of you who live in the residential world understand that it can be difficult and trying at times. And it was man, it was all just kind of like this idea that we had that turned out wasn't even accurate for us. And so at the end of 22, we pulled the plug on it and said, we're not doing it anymore. Well, then people started getting mad at us, right? So people would call us and they'd be like, well, what do you mean you're a fence company and you don't do fence? I was like, well, no, actually, we just won't do your fence, but we will do other fence. And so yeah, so then we started telling people we have a $15,000 minimum for residential. And so every once in a blue moon, we'll get somebody that talks to us. But it pretty much is the same as saying we don't do it. So,
Yeah.
uh, but people get a little bit less upset with that method than they did with just hearing no.
Well, 15,000, man, that could be a PVC job pretty easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which she says, Dante, tell them all about your episode on commercial bidding and prepping your company for proper cash flow. You broke it down so beautifully. Speechless. Look
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah. I'm speechless. So I don't know. Was it that like I did an episode pretty early on called Cash is King, and I don't know, maybe that was the one. So I host Powerhouse Fence Show for anyone who doesn't know.
Let's give a plug here. Powerhouse Fence Show. You guys, it's Thursdays. Is it the same time every time?
Yeah, 5 o'clock Central.
5 Central. Go check it out. He gets into some pretty serious stuff, like where we're just kind of like, relax and, everything like that, where he goes into a lot of different things. Isaac.
What's up,
bid
Isaac?
helper checking in. He didn't put that. He always puts your bid helper checking in.
Yeah,
he left
no,
it out there.
he always puts that on mine.
Come on, Isaac, you're slacking. Susan says yes.
Yeah, so I guess the Cash is King episode, and it's been a couple years ago that I did that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang. Stuck
Yeah.
with Susan.
I know.
So just commercial now, huh?
Yeah, basically, like I said, if it's not the $15,000 minimum, then we're not doing it. And I mean, man, if we do one residential job a year, that's probably about what we do. And so there's multiple facets in the commercial world, right? That
Mhm.
a lot of people don't really talk about, but you can do like the whole business to business commercial thing where like the example I always give is the car lot down the street calls you and wants a fence around their parking lot, right? So like that's one side. And then you've got like dealing with general contractors, and then that has multiple levels really. So if you go through like local general contractors versus worldwide GCs, like those are two pretty different things. And then you got like federal government stuff and, working for DOTs. And so there's a lot of different avenues that you can go in commercial. And we try to touch as much of those as we can. So sponsors are better than yours.
You like that?
Is that for me?
No, it's not for you. I've always had it on there. Isaac says it's a great show. Yes, he must be talking about yours because ours is just average.
No.
The legend, Tony Thornton. Hey, boys, hope all is well. I'm going to be honest. Fence Tech, did you go to oh, you didn't go. That's right, because you were kind of busy having a booth. But the Whitaker boys, Robert actually did burn the boats. It was pretty serious. Like there was a lot of emotional like speaking, I feel like this year. But he did one, and then Tony stood up and gave a word on some things and stuff, and it was good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Jonathan said, "Where are y'all located?" So I am in Indianapolis, and he's in Memphis.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes.
I've learned that a lot of people don't know that Memphis is in Tennessee. I used to think that everybody knew where it was, but yeah, that's a new thing.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I know because I'm a big sports guy. So then obviously Memphis Grizzlies, and then I'm a Purdue guy, and they just drafted Zach Edey from Purdue. But yeah, Jordan Murray says nice. Jordan, I think Jordan's from Evansville. Could be wrong on that, but I thought he was. Maybe not. Maybe it's a different guy. So yeah, so that's going well. São Paulo, how's that going for you?
Yeah, it's going pretty good, man. It's not paying the bills. We're all the money from all the subscribers just goes back to developers. But I mean, I think long term, I think it's a thing that might pan out a little different. I tell people this kind of stuff a lot, so like it's not like I'm sharing any deep dark secrets here, but yeah, I like the story of kind of how I got into it. It was interesting, and I mean now it's kind of just like become a passion project for me almost, right? So we're just trying to do stuff to help people, man. And that's really what it is. And the people that use it and the people that see the value in it, I mean, it's helpful for them. And it's not for everybody, right? It's just a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. But it's good.
So basically, I'll just say what São Paulo does for anybody who's listening. This will make the story make more sense, right? The fact that it's a piece of the puzzle. So I built it to upload a plan set in, right? So if you got 4 pages or you got 400 sheets, you upload the full plan set in it. You can search through the plans, you trace out the fence lines, and then you tell it what the fence is, and it'll generate a material list for you, like out of the box. You can build stock items in it to where you get a material cost, and you can do whatever calculations you want in there. I built a product that's called Anything You Want, and it tells you how many ducks and flamingos and lizard legs it takes to build a fence. So like whatever you can come up with to put in there, it'll do it. So you can see how it's kind of like a niche software, right? Like it's not for the masses really, but it's for the people that are trying to accomplish that thing. So
yeah. Which it's for you, it's fantastic because you quote unquote got rid of residential.
Yeah.
So because I mean, you could use it on a plot plan, right? Like
oh yeah. I've got some people that do. They'll put plots in there, and there's a virtual drawing space that if you don't have any kind of drawing, anything that's a PDF. So like you can scan and upload hand drawings and put in it. Really? Or, if you drew an ArcSite, like you could send a drawing from ArcSite over there. So that's actually, we use ArcSite for like drawing in the field and stuff. And, so anything that's a PDF you can put in there.
Gotcha. Which Jonathan said he's in the Nashville market here. And then Jordan said, yeah, he's in Evansville. Dan,
yeah, so
Do you do stuff in
Jonathan's
Nashville?
basically my neighbor.
How far is Nashville from you?
It's like 3-ish hours.
Do you ever do anything over there?
So we've done some stuff around the area. It was in one of the like suburbs, so not
Well,
really in Nashville proper.
I don't know if we should talk about this right here, but do you want to do something at the airport,
Where
Nashville airport?
I want to do something everywhere.
Oh, okay. Somebody asked me to quote. Apparently, they've got like 12,000 feet of temp fence or something
Oh well,
for a project. And there's some other
Nice.
stuff too.
yeah. No, I want to do stuff everywhere, man. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, then
If
we'll talk more about that. Maybe Jonathan
Alright.
can help you out too.
All right. Yeah, we so last year I bid jobs in Washington D.C.
What?
Yeah, I bid a job that was like out west of Tombstone, Arizona. Um, I've worked with someone on a project in Haiti. I've shipped stuff to South America a few times.
What?
Uh,
So
I
you're
looked at a
worldwide.
job. I
You
looked
got
at
a
a job that
freaking
was
legend here. You're worldwide and you're keeping
Yeah.
that a secret?
Yeah, man. I last year I looked at a job that was it was like over in Asia. I'm not super great with the geography of Asia, so excuse me, anyone who is. But it was like down south of China and stuff like that. It was at a U.S. embassy over there, and I looked at the job a little bit. I didn't bid it, but it was that kind of stuff. I was trying to explain this to my brother last night because in the show last night I said one of my bucket list items is to bid a job in an active war zone. Right. And it's not that I want to get the job or do the job.
I was going to say, are
But-
you going there to do the job?
Oh, if we sold the job 100%, I would go.
Oh my gosh.
But but no, I mean, just like that mental exercise. Yeah.
Shane, we were actually talking about you a little bit ago. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, man, it's just that mental exercise of going through the process and like thinking through what all it would take to pull that job off. And, I mentioned the stuff in Haiti, right? So I think that was like 6 containers that I had to ship to Haiti full of material. And like you gotta get it to the dock in the US and then you gotta get it from the dock once it gets there. I bid some gates at Pearl Harbor one time that were 16 foot tall, and shipping that stuff from here to the West Coast and putting it on a ship and then getting it to Pearl Harbor. Like I said, that it's all a fun challenge, right? To just kind of think through that whole process.
Which, speaking of that, I seen and it's the internet, so I don't know how true this is, but apparently I think it's Jeff Bezos has a fence out front that looks like trees.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but it's probably 30 feet in the air. And it looks like these giant like bush tree looking things all along the front part of his house. And the fence guy was like, I wonder how deep those footers are. It's like, yeah, it was crazy.
So is it made out of wood?
No, it looks like just a tree or a bush, I guess. So it didn't really say like what it was, but the guy's like sitting there basically at the end of his driveway, just going like this and like videotaping it. He goes, I wonder how deep these footers are.
Huh. That's crazy, man. I'll have to so I'm looking it up at the same time here, see if I can find a picture.
Who? Oh, Bezos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could pull up his fence real quick. Oh,
Which Isaac says that he looks at projects in 5 to 6 different states every week.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
that's fun.
Shane says, sorry, I'm late to the party. Yes, Shane, you are. I'm sure have you had Isaac on before?
Nope.
Have you and Isaac talked before?
Only like this. This is as
Really?
far as we've ever talked. Yeah.
I feel like you and Isaac need to have a conversation.
I think we need to talk. I think we need to meet.
I do too. Which
So
are you driving to Indy for Fence Tech?
probably. I'm not sure.
It's about an
Yeah.
8-hour drive.
Yeah, I know. That's
I,
it depends on who all goes and, that kind of thing. Because, man, you wind up and you start getting tickets for, uh, oh, you start getting like airline tickets for 6 or 8 people and, shipping stuff up there and all. And then I look at it and I'm like, all right, I can drive and like, we could drive 2 vehicles up there and we can haul these 8 people. So
yeah, yeah,
it's kind of where I'll make that choice once I kind of get a feel for who all's going and stuff like that. So that this thing that I just found says that Jeff Bezos owns the tallest residential fence in America. So
yeah.
tall that it's illegal and he pays fines every month for it.
That's
Who knows if
lovely.
it's real or not, but
When you have that much money, you're like, we'll just pay the fines every month. Who cares?
right.
They're
That's
probably
crazy.
jacking those fines up because they're like, he can afford it.
Yeah. Inflation,
Yeah.
supply chain issues, fines have to go up.
Like these potholes get filled every 3 seconds because we have so much money now.
Yeah. Craig,
Awesome.
I want to ask you about something that's serious.
Oh, geez. Here we go.
Can we talk serious for a minute?
All right. Let me put my serious face on. All right. Go ahead.
All right. So you were in the Young Fence Professionals meeting today when we talked
Yes.
about all the tariffs and price increases and escalations and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So while I was in that meeting, I got a quote that was an update on a job that I bid in May of last year. And you know what the difference was between the price from May to now?
What?
0.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
Isn't that crazy?
legit 0?
Yeah, legit 0. The cost was the same in May. So it was May 31st, 2024 when I got the original quote. And then to today, it was the same price.
Hmm.
And so
That's
that was
crazy.
really crazy to me, right? Because I expected to see like a 20% or so, 15% increase on the material cost. And it was the exact same.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So what I plan to do now is I tried to start it today, but I didn't have time. In fact, everyone, we were 30 minutes late because Craig was waiting on me and I was trying to get all my stuff sorted out here. So like you
True
see, I
story.
didn't have time. Yeah, right. I mean, I did get held up by like some friggin' podunk dude hauling about 18 crushed cars behind a dump truck. So
Yeah.
uh,
What's funny is I text you and I go, is that like a wreck or something? Then I thought about it and I was like, man, I probably shouldn't have texted him because he's driving and there was already a wreck or something. So I was like,
right.
it's probably a bad move, but
Nah,
yeah.
it's all right. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back through our purchases and I'm gonna look at I started working on it today and I looked at one purchase around like March or April for the same item for like the past 5 years. And so I'm gonna do a study of this and I'm gonna figure out how much the cost has changed over the course of the last 5 years if I look at around the same date.
Mhm.
And so I have a theory, I have a curiosity, right? And I wonder if all of this talk that we're doing is like, are we afraid? Right? Is this all out of fear for what we think is going to happen? And we're kind of like blowing it out of proportion, which I know it's happening. I've
Yeah.
gotten increase letters, right, that are talking
Mhm.
about increases, but did we drop between the last March and now? And we're just going back to where we were last March. So I don't know the answer, but it's
Yeah.
an interesting thought.
I would
And it
almost
really shocked
guarantee
me.
too, your COVID pricing is probably going to be the highest.
Yeah.
This things got pretty crazy during COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, like a
Did you
regular 4x4 was like $40 or something.
Yeah.
And
Oh
those are
yeah.
like
It was
$9
wild.
now.
Hmm. Did you look at
Yeah.
that steel benchmarker report?
The one
Did
that
you
you
see-
shared,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I was afraid to click it because I was like, man, if I click it, it might like push me out of the thing. So I did not click on it. 'Cause
Okay.
I didn't want to be that guy. And they're like, what's going on? So yeah. But then you started talking about it. So I was like, oh, cool. So now I know what it is.
Yeah. So that thing's crazy, man. If you look at it, you can see a graph, and the graph is like 20 years.
Really?
And so it gives you a massive history of steel prices, and you can see the spike that happened around COVID. I mean, it's huge.
Really?
And so, and then I guess about 3 or 4 times since COVID, we've kind of, rode this wave going up and down since then. So it's real interesting to look at that kind of stuff and just kind of, what happened and what's going on now.
I agree with you. I think a lot of it is fear. I think a lot of people, obviously with the new president and stuff, everyone's all worried. And yes, he does do some pretty crazy things, but I do wonder, like, it'll be interesting to see your report, I guess. So
Yeah.
that way you can kind of compare where it is and everything. But I mean, I've seen everything from 20% increase to a 40% increase,
Mhm.
but I haven't actually seen the increase. I've just seen that there could be coming, basically, type stuff, and nobody's for sure
Right.
on anything. So,
Yep. Well, so no, there have been like real increases,
oh, there has.
right? Yeah. So our cost on some stuff from a few different suppliers, basically our cost on everything has gone up, uh, different amounts, right? But like, my point is, did it just if we got a 10% increase now, did it drop going into fall and winter last year 10%, and now the increase that we're seeing today just gets us back to where we were a year ago? And that's
Right.
the thing I don't know the answer to. But I was curious if you had any if you had looked at anything or noticed any of that stuff in your business.
No, but that would be. I mean, it makes sense for what you're
Yeah.
saying, because I could see now. What if it does drop every slow season,
Hmm.
and then they like, hey, actually, we need to increase, guys, because they know it's everyone's busy season.
Hmm.
So yeah, that'll be. And now they're just like, oh, it's the tariffs. It's like,
Right.
wait, no,
Right.
you actually raise it every year anyways. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's the crazy part was, man, even when the tariffs were like, oh, they may or may not happen, and it was
yeah,
like the tariff was going to happen, then it wasn't, then they were, then they weren't, and
yeah,
even during that, the prices were just like people were sending out increase letters.
yeah,
And so that was kind of like my first indicator that, wait a minute, is this actually just like out of fear? I mean, we still have to deal with prices increasing, right? And we still have to deal with the negotiations with our customers and things like that. So, I mean, I'm not trying to be dismissive of all of that. I just, I find it very interesting. I'm very inquisitive, right? And I like to kind of dig into that stuff a little
yeah.
bit. So,
Which I can't remember the fella's name. Oh gosh, now I'm gonna go blank on what his name was. It's gonna kill me. I'm not even gonna be. I can't take credit for it. It
well, if
wasn't.
you ask me who it was, I'm not going to remember either. So,
You're not gonna remember it. But he
no.
made a point where, maybe once I tell you, he made a point that, does the price increase really affect us that much? Because if you
Mhm.
think about it, the whole country is going to get the same thing. So
Right.
we're all seeing price increase, which means that our margins, I mean, our fence is going to go and increase. So our margins are staying the same if depending on how you price stuff out. But
Hmm.
so is it really going to matter that much? Like, it's going to matter the
Well,
most to the homeowner or the GC, the business. Like, can they afford it now? But
so to take that another layer, if your cost is increasing, guess what? The guy down the street from you's cost is increasing as well.
yeah,
So when I used to race dirt track stuff, and um, man, something that stuck with me ever since then. I remember complaining like, "Oh, the track's too dry, the track's too wet, it's too rough, it's too smooth." Like it was never right.
right.
There was never the Goldilocks thing where it was always either too hot or too cold, right? And so I remember we'd always complain about this, and finally some guy said, "Everybody's racing on the same track." And I
Yeah,
was like, "Whoa," like, it blew my mind. Everybody's racing on the same track. We're all dealing with the same thing,
yeah,
right? And so that little phrase has kinda hung with me since then, and now when I think about, like, increasing costs and things like that, like, we're all racing on the same track.
yeah.
So,
That's 100% true. And I didn't even, you don't really think about it, but when that guy said that, I was like, dang, like, because there was probably 40, 50 people in this meeting.
Yeah.
And yes, we're all across everywhere, like literally from coast to coast. And he said that, and I'm like, dang, man, like, I mean, it doesn't really hurt us, I guess. So
Yeah, you still have to deal with it, man. And like I said, I'm not trying to be dismissive of the fact that we all have to deal with it. Like when COVID happened, dude, we got caught with our freaking pants down on some jobs. And, I mean, if we had
but did you have your mask on?
no, I refused, actually. I was that guy. If you made me wear a mask, I just wasn't coming in.
So you didn't have pants on and you didn't have a mask on?
That's right. So I went to jail.
Yeah.
And if you I can tell you of the places to go to jail, Memphis is not the one you want to go to.
No.
But no, we got caught in that situation, quite a bit with the lumber, because in our residential world, we would have a 10 or 12 week lead time on jobs, and like at that point, we used to buy cedar boards by the rail car. Right. And then we stopped buying rail cars and we started buying truckloads. And then it got crazy to where you'd have to go like at the end of 2025, you'd order all the truckloads that you wanted for 2026. And they were all priced at the time of shipment. They call it like PTS or whatever. Right. So price at the time of shipment. And so you didn't even know what you had to give them a PO on all these truckloads of cedar, and you didn't even know what you were paying for them.
Yeah.
And so we had kind of gotten all the way out of that because I'm trying to reduce the amount of capital that we have tied up and invested in doing these residential jobs. And so we got to where we were buying more job lot stuff, right? And I mean, when there was big increases happening across this 10 or 12 week time or longer from the time we sold the job until we were buying the material, whatever that was, it was like, oh crap, like we got beat up pretty good on a few jobs there, but we learned.
Yeah.
And
you learn quick when you get beat up.
Oh yeah. No.
So that was the other thing I want to talk about. It's called Young Fence Professionals, right? Or is it okay?
Yeah.
Rumor on the streets was there was maybe going to be a name change, but we're going to roll with that for now. Because it's not just for young people, right? It's for everybody.
Yeah, and so that's where the name is a little bit confusing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, really we're working to find the direction, okay, and to have like a clearly defined mission or objective. So I'll just kind of put that out there.
Yeah.
But the purpose is, man, if you're new in the industry, new in the AFA, if you've never networked with people, if you don't know anyone in the fence industry other than the people that show up to work with you every day, like that's the easy entryway into that world. Right? If you want to get to know 40 or 50 other people that work in the fence industry across the country, well, you could have started that today in that meeting, right? Because like you just said, 40, 50 people all across the country. And so that's kind of the thing, right? It's just it's an easy spot for people to get plugged in and start meeting people and, kind of start getting involved in the industry as like a bigger picture than, you just going to work every day. So yeah, you can see how young doesn't mean your age.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause that's why I was like, man, I need to be involved. I'm 40. I'll be 41 on Tuesday. I need to feel young again. So I was like, I need to be a part of this. So, back to my serious face. I haven't told you about this yet, but Fence Tech Indy, I talk about it all the time now because I'm super excited for it. I need you to bring enough people to run your booth for one day without you being in your booth.
Okay.
You think you can do that?
Well, I have almost a year to figure out how to make that happen. So, maybe I'll give you a maybe.
Here's why. And
okay.
Hopefully I can tell this story and you don't get mad at me. If you get mad at me, I'm sorry.
I'm just going to hang up. I'm going to shut my laptop and I'm going to go watch TV.
He's mad. That we went, for those that don't know, we went out to dinner one night. Dan actually almost died he almost choked on a green bean. Didn't say nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Craig also
but-
didn't know I was choking on a green bean. So
because he goes, I think I just choked on a green bean. And I was like, dude, you didn't even like move or anything.
Yeah.
It's
I was just quiet for 15
Yeah.
seconds.
like, but whenever we were there, you said something that you had done about like walking around and then finding people that looked like they had
Oh yeah.
been there on their first time.
Mhm.
So I've been thinking about that, man, because I was like, dude, that was awesome to do that to people. Because a lot of
All
times
right,
some
so-
people go by themselves. Oh, you already got something in mind, don't you?
No. I just wanted
Okay.
to like, if it's okay with you, Mr.
Yeah.
Host, I would like to kind of expand on that just a little bit and just
Okay.
kind of explain to people what that was, right?
Yep. Expand.
Okay, so we're at this the kickoff party on Tuesday. And I'm a pretty introverted person, right? It's really hard for me to like walk into a group of people that I don't know and be like, "Hey, I'm Dan." Like I don't do that. And so I decided it was a good idea for me to sit in front of a camera every week and talk to the world. But whatever. So I was at this party on Tuesday and I'm like, man, the thought just hit me. And I was like, how many people are in this room right now that don't know a single other person in the room?
Yeah.
And so I just started going around, and you can look around and you can see the people that have that lost look on their face, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
started going around to him and talking to him, and I just walked up and introduced myself, and we struck up a conversation. And it was surprisingly simple to keep a conversation going with complete strangers,
Mhm.
one on one. And a lot of times other people would walk up and like join in. So, like, they met multiple people. And they were all first time attendees at Fence Tech, and they were all in the room by themselves and didn't know anybody else.
Yeah.
So that's
So-
the backstory of it.
That's what he tells me when we're at dinner. And I was like, so I've been thinking about that. And I would like to offer or be part of me and you do that for one of the days there and just walk around Fence Tech and look for people that look like it's their first time
Yeah.
and talk to them and just
Yeah.
see how they are, thank them for coming, having a good time, what they liked, what they didn't,
Mhm.
obviously all that kind of stuff. Not that we're like, super important guys in the AFA and we can't change anything if you guys are like, well, I don't like this and that. Like,
Right.
we're just gonna be like, all right.
Sorry.
But I think that would be super cool because, like you said, you can tell a lot of times when it's someone's first time because they may not know anybody. So
Yeah.
I think it'll help them enjoy their time and want to come back to stuff.
Yeah. And I think, for me, that's the goal, right? Is I want to
Mhm.
turn someone's first experience into a positive experience with the hopes that they have a second time.
Yeah.
Right, because your first time, man, it's gonna be, like, crazy, right? You walk into that room, hypothetically, you've never been to anything like that. You go to the kickoff party on Tuesday night, and there's 2,000 people in the room.
Yeah.
And it's like, "Holy crap," and everybody's in, like, their little groups, right?
Yeah.
And, I mean,
Yeah.
we as humans, like, we do that, right? It's comfortable for us to walk up to people that we know and hang out and talk to them.
Yeah.
But, kind of being that, like, outsider type of person. Another thing that I don't know what YFP is gonna turn into from that perspective, like, I don't know if we're gonna be able to get anything done there to try to, like, welcome people in, but, that's one of the things that I've kinda voiced a little bit, so we'll see
Yeah.
what that turns into as well, but yeah, dude, I like it, and I think if we can get that message out to people, I mean, I honestly think that there's other people that will just take it upon themselves to do that.
Yeah.
Right? So I saw Amanda's comment. I love that idea. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Right? So people like that can appreciate that kind of like fear and that intimidation and stuff. I mean, go around, meet 5 people, right? Like find 5 people that don't know anyone. And man, if we all did that, like everybody in there is going to leave that place and having met at least us.
Yeah.
And I think that's super powerful.
Well, yeah, it's powerful one because again, like it makes them feel important, like they belong there. It was a good time. They got to meet Dan, the powerhouse host. And
What'd Shane say? International fence
Yeah.
man of mystery.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty cool title. So we might
Yeah.
roll with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it's good, and it's good to be a good human at the same time. So that was my thing to you. I wanted to say, put you on the spot and say, hey man, what do you think about this? We do this in Indy, and then maybe we do it on like the because isn't the first day? It's always like the shortest day, right? They usually do from
Yeah.
like noon to
The
5
first
or
day
something.
starts. Yep.
Yeah. So,
But I got some stuff to sort out. I'm interested in doing it. I don't want to necessarily commit,
oh god,
but I know. I'm
is that
just
like
a
a maybe
disappointment.
like 55%? Or are we going like 49?
If I can pull off the whole making sure the booth is manned thing, I'm down. Right? That's the one obstacle I have. Past that, yeah, I'm down to do it. But I mean, either way, man, I think at the like the kickoff party, right? Like that's a good opportunity to do that kind of stuff. And
Yeah,
I mean, the show
yeah,
floor also is a good opportunity, right? So,
yeah.
so yeah, like I said, if I can sort out the whole man in the booth stuff, there you go. Amanda said she's in.
There you go. Boom.
Yeah. And check it out. Oh, I'm not gonna read the comments. Hey, there
Oh,
we go.
JC Gurry in the house. Which I seen you just got some new fence signs, didn't you?
I did. They're awesome.
Did you got temp signs? Did you get regular signs too?
Yep. Yep. So the first ones I got were like the jumbo size temporary
Yeah.
fence ones. And when I got those, I was like, wow, these are awesome. And I ordered some normal size ones too. So
Dude, I need some of those for temp fence. I seen yours and I was like, I need to contact them. So
oh, they fit perfect on those ZND panels, man. It's like they're made for them.
really,
So, oh yeah.
yeah, I definitely need to. JC Gurry, don't let me forget because you know I will. But yeah, so you let me know how many people you need me to send from Eubanks Fencing to help man your booth. And they can't talk any software or anything.
Right.
They can run the putt maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah. See, look, yes, you will. See, they know.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
I got
funny.
to like I said, man, as long as I can sort that stuff out, then yeah, I'm
Mhm.
down to do it. So like for the past 3 years at FenceTech, I've not really walked the show floor at all. It's
Mm.
so hard to leave the booth that it's just like I don't even get to walk around and see stuff. And then, this year I tried to leave the booth a couple times. Like I went to Homeland to get the badges or the wristbands to get in the party and stuff. And I think
So
it
you
took me
make
like
time
an
for that.
hour. Yeah. Yeah. But it took me like an hour, hour and a half to walk from my booth to theirs and back because so many people are along the way that just want to talk.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing. And that's 2 years ago at Oklahoma City. That wasn't the case, right? Like I could have walked anywhere in that room and nobody would have talked to me. But that was kind of my start into the whole networking and getting to know people and stuff like that. And so now it's like anywhere you go, I run into somebody that I've talked to and know to some extent, right?
Yeah.
Which is cool. That's really good. I mean, when you can pick up the phone and call people and ask them questions when you're struggling with something, that is a incredibly valuable tool for your business.
Yeah. It's huge.
Mm.
Which did you get any of these on your journey?
I did not. What is that?
It's like a what was it called? Terry cloth?
Oh,
Is that what it's
nice.
called? Yeah.
Like a little lens cleaner kind of thing,
Yeah.
or glasses.
You know, all them thumbprints.
I actually still have so I have their hat sitting on my table when I do the podcast. Sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't. I try to put it somewhere that you can see it, but it's not like I move the cameras around and stuff, and so you
Yeah.
can't always. But they have made these little, I don't know, they're like the little like security things that you can put on your laptop, and so it'll like cover your camera and you can slide it to open and close it.
Yeah.
I've got one of those that's just sitting in a bag and I haven't committed to actually put it on something, but I keep it just laying on my desk just in case.
That's funny. Which it's funny because I put these things over here so that way people
Mm.
can see them while we're live and stuff. I do
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool, man. I wanna like redo my studio some where I just kind of have like the cloth backdrops back there, right? That I leave
Yeah.
behind us. And I think it'd be cool to have some shelves and, actually be able to hang some stuff on the wall. So I don't know if I want to get into all that or not.
You know what I want? I want to do wood planks that are
That's exactly what
stained
I
different
thought too.
colors. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, man,
It's
that would look
exactly what I
nice.
thought about. Right now, if I took the cloth down, that's like the old school, like 1980s wood paneling behind that cloth.
Well, right now I look like I'm just have this burst of aura around my head because of the light. It's like shining right there. So I'm like, gosh, man. So now my head looks like glowing. So
It's like
and my
you
blood
got like
pressure
a
probably looks like like whatever, man. Here we are.
it is. It's kind of like a little halo going on or something.
Yeah. And now you like really notice it, don't you?
Yeah. Well, ironically enough, I noticed it as you were starting to talk about it. So like
That's
a
hilarious.
second before you started, I noticed it.
Yeah.
But before that, I didn't see it.
Because that's what is it Joe? Or no, it was actually Evan Gardner. I was
Mm.
talking to him, and he had it at his house on a wall, and it was literally like every stain sample he could get, or something like 22 or something like that. And
Yeah.
I was like, man, that looks nice. So
Yeah, that's cool.
Saint Craig,
Saint-
no, but so what's anything going to happen new with the young fence professionals?
I don't know yet. We've talked about a lot of stuff. So I will tell you something new is going to happen. Well, I mean, we did have a Zoom meeting today with
Yeah.
50 well, I don't know how many people came and went, but I know looking at the counts, it was, in that 45, 50 neighborhood consistently. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that was cool.
Yeah, there was one guy that jumped on with like 2 minutes left.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I think it was Doug. I think
Yep.
But
Yeah.
he's like, "Yeah, I'm a little late, guys." It's like, yeah, man. It's like so,
Just
but
a
yeah,
bit.
it was cool though. I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, I seen Robert put out the Facebook post. I think it was,
Mhm.
and I was like, man, I'm going to check this out. And then I wish I would have came to the one at Fence Tech whenever, because I seen you and Lowry were like up speaking or something.
Yeah.
Was that planned, or did they just like, hey, here's the mic, start talking?
So it's kind of planned,
Oh, okay.
kind of a surprise.
Yeah. A little of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both. We kind of get like a somewhat of an idea of what's going to happen, and then like we just go in there and just do stuff.
Yeah. And then
So
things change. Yeah.
right,
That's
yeah. So
awesome.
I mean, the like topics and stuff like that are planned out. So don't
Mhm.
think that it's like just shooting from the hip from
Yeah.
that perspective. But
It's not like Fence Guy Friday. Like there is some topics that you're going to discuss.
I know. So I asked Craig today. I was like, he texts me. He says, "What are you doing in 2.5 hours?" And I'm like, "Okay, what's the topic?" And he said,
Yeah.
"Dan and Craig hanging out or something like that." And I
That's
was like,
exactly
"Oh,
what I
okay."
said. I say,
Uh,
Dan and Craig hanging out on a Friday.
yeah.
But that's pretty much what we do, man. I mean, there is some people. That's why I like watching your show too, because you get in depth with everything. Where I'm over here,
Yeah.
like I don't get that far into depth because
Mm,
it's Friday, probably more, and I'm like, we'll just hang out, have a good time, talk, giggle some, and then
yeah.
roll with it.
Yeah, man. And it's cool.
Yeah.
Right? It's cool to hang out. So my like default mode is to get serious.
Really?
And yeah, so Isaac making fun of me. He didn't send you an outline. So yeah, I do my whole like show notes outline kind of thing, and like I I nerd out a little bit sometimes. Sometimes I wait until the last minute and I'm like, oh crap, I need to type something up. And then sometimes I actually like spend time and do research on stuff and
Yeah.
like throw some historical stories in there and like all kinds of stuff. So
Do you remember me being on your show?
I remember that you were on the show.
Yeah, it was pre-recorded. I wasn't cool enough to be live, but whatever.
Well, when do you want to be live?
Whenever. I mean, since you're
I'm gonna-
asking.
I'm gonna just make out my whole outline and then I'll give it to you 5 minutes before.
I won't read it. Actually, I think one of the cool things, her name's Alaria, right?
Yeah.
Because you had on there like her word of the day or something.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, the
still do that?
Italian word.
Every
Yep.
day? Because I forget what you asked her last week or yesterday, I guess.
I think it was like huge or something like that. And I think
Yeah, it was.
or
Or
giant
Normo or
some-
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
It was close.
I
right?
don't. Yeah, yeah.
JC
It
Gray
probably-
says Dan has a great show, but too early for us sometimes.
It's still there.
You still, I mean, you upload it to podcasts and everything, right?
Yeah, it goes
Yeah.
out to like I don't know, 8 or 10 or 12 podcast platforms, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Most of the big ones, Apple, Spotify, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The main one people listen to.
Yep. Yeah, but it's hard for me to just be in that like hangout mood, right? Or mode.
Why is that?
I'm like, I default to like, let's get some stuff done. And I don't know why I'm always like that, right? It doesn't matter. Like, no matter what it is, I always kind of default to that.
Yeah. Yes, live is the best.
I think it sometimes has its drawbacks though, right?
Live?
Because it's like, well, like when you say something and you're like, oh gosh, I just sound like a complete idiot. You can't do anything about it. It's done.
But those are the best though, man, because people see you being a human.
Yep.
So and honestly, most of the time those are the reels and stuff that take off the most because people are
Mhm.
like, oh, I can relate with this guy. He sounds like an idiot. So they're like, but not saying everybody's an idiot. But
Right.
yes, they're like, it works out, I guess.
Yeah. It makes people a little more relatable, I think.
Yeah.
You watch those shows that are
Mm.
like super edited and polished and things like that. And it's kind of, I'm nothing against that, right? But like, it doesn't seem as genuine as just here it is. So like even your show that was pre-recorded, I mean, we don't edit it or anything. We hit record and whatever happens and it goes out to the world. So,
Yeah.
but
Which-
sometimes it's just scheduling stuff, man. Sometimes you got, kids have things after school and it's, how it is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's why it's hard for this during football season because my oldest plays football. So Friday
Yeah.
Night Lights. So it
Mhm.
gets hard. And
Yeah.
and obviously I go at 7:00 and kickoff is usually 7. So
Yeah.
it's like, gosh dang it.
So you just got to take your phone out there and do it from the sidelines.
Like we are live on the game.
Mhm. Actually, so one of the people that I talked to at FenceTech, he did a podcast because I think his daughter played softball or something like that in high school, and so he did a podcast that was all about the like the high school athletics, and he would talk about the scores of the week and who did this and who did that. And then his daughter graduated. And so he said, it kind of like pittered out a little bit. And then he said he had people start reaching out to him and was like, hey, man, missed your show. What's going on? And so I think he still does it, even
That's
though,
wild.
his daughter's been graduated and gone from high school for some years. He still does that.
Dang, that's
So-
crazy.
Yep.
That'd be pretty cool though, really, to do that.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. We are at an hour right now with no show notes. So
We made it.
Yeah, we made it. Yeah, I need to come on your show now,
Okay.
and then we'll get that thing. But you got to show me how to link.
Yeah, I don't know how. It just had the button up top and I pushed it.
Man, I didn't know it does that.
Yeah, yeah. So like I think when you create the broadcast on StreamYard, I
Mhm.
think it does I think it has a little toggle on there that's like allow others to broadcast to their own sources or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think as long as you have that checked, then it'll put that button in the top right and people can stream to their places. Now, for me, I have a StreamYard account too, right? So I already have all my stuff linked to it. You saw it only let me do 2.
Yeah.
So, but I already have all my stuff linked to it. And so I don't know how it would be if you didn't.
I wonder though if it only let you do 2 because I think I have like 5 or 6 or something.
Oh,
So I wonder if
maybe.
like maybe I only had 4 if it allow you to do a couple more.
Maybe.
I don't know.
It might just be because I'm on this side, right? And I'm only maxed out at
Oh
2.
yeah.
I wonder if you had 4 people, if everybody gets 2. You know, so many questions.
Yeah. And this is the program we use every week.
Yeah.
We have no idea
Yeah.
how to use it.
Hey, we know how to get here
Yeah.
slowly after I got my microphone to work and
But not the
never got my
GoPro.
camera to work.
That's funny.
Well, you know, I have a new laptop, man, and everything's all crazy. And so you got to like allow permissions for everything. And then this
Mhm.
crap has to update. But
Yep.
anyway,
So I guess we will shut it down then. I'll add this on
Oh.
here. We do have a cool little outro. You got something to say?
yeah, I got
What?
something to say.
Say it.
What's the topic when you come on the show?
On your show?
Yeah.
Surprise me.
That's going to
Don't
be
make
the
it-
title of it. Surprise me with Craig Eubanks.
Surprise. Shoot, I don't know, man. We're talking about everything. Yeah, we're talking about whatever.
I'm just putting you on the spot.
I'll have to get more of a serious face though,
Yeah.
because
You
I
gotta
feel
get
like
a
you're
little-
gonna ask me like you're gonna ask me some deep questions. Gosh dang it. I wasn't ready for that, Dan.
Yeah. You better read those show notes.
I
Read
know,
that
right?
line.
Yep.
All right. Well, I appreciate you having
um,
me on, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, dude, especially in a 2.5 hour window.
Hey.
So tell
Anytime.
the fam I appreciate letting your time be on this show for a little bit. So
Yes, sir.
but yeah, so guys, make sure you go follow both of us on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. Obviously, this is Fence Guy Friday. That is Powerhouse. But yeah, go and follow us. Oh, don't want to leave anybody out. Oh, look at Alex. Look, this is exactly what somebody hops in the last 2 minutes of the show.
But hey, he
Just kidding,
made it.
Alex. Yeah, he made it. Got to represent them brand builders. But yeah, go and follow us on YouTube, guys. We really need those wonderful watch hours. So check it out on there. Watch your favorite episode. And we will see you guys next Friday.